really since I started having children, man, I've had this thing to where if I get a serious idea in my mind, something I really believe in, either whether it's thinking about Christ or talking to people about Christ, man, even my wife, or just other serious things, man, I get really just choked up, or I got to stop talking for a minute to really pull myself back together. But it's like this emotion just kind of takes over me for a second. I gotta stop talking about what I'm talking about.
And I get so emotional, baby, every time I think of you. A first-time caller out of Louisiana.
Mr. Jesse.
Hey, Casey.
Oh, I'm glad to be talking to you. Let me tell you what, this show, I've only really been on to your show for maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
And man, it's been a real blessing. It's been a real eye-opener.
Welcome.
Listen, this issue I've been thinking about it, and I've been thinking about it more and more now since I've been watching your show, is, overcoming our emotions, not being emotional. That's the spirit of evil. That's the spirit of Satan. Like you say, from Eve's original fall, Adam and Eve's original fall, and it's still in women. And you talk about how that, that can manifest in men too. We joke and, call it a beta, and that is true.
That's why God said you must be born again of the Father. You got to overcome the nature of the woman, which is the nature of the devil.
That's right. That's true. I believe that. I'm not an angry person. I don't have really anger issues. Now, as a little kid, of course, I would throw temper tantrums and, freak out, and I'd get disciplined, and that'd be fine. But really, as an adult, as a man, now married, I've been married for 10 years. My wife and I have 2 beautiful sons. Really, since I started having children, man, I've had this thing to where if I get a serious idea in my mind, something I really believe in, either whether it's thinking about Christ or talking to people about Christ, man, even my wife, or just other serious things, man, I get really just choked up, or I got to stop talking for a minute to really pull myself back together. Now, again, this isn't an anger, and it doesn't feel like I'm like sad or crying or throwing a fit, but it's like this emotion just kind of takes over me for a second. I gotta stop talking about what I'm talking about. And again, it's usually stuff I really believe in. I really feel something for. I mean, right now I'm getting a little emotional. I know it's corny. I'm nervous, number one, talking on the phone with you in front of the whole world. But yeah, I just is that something I need to focus on more and really try? Is that a sign of trying to control my emotions even more?
And what's your question for me?
My question is, when I talk about serious things I believe in with people, or even, man, I could be by myself and think about these serious things, I get emotional. I choked up.
Oh, I see. So you get emotional when you talk about Christ?
Sure.
And why do you get emotional talking about Christ?
I think, and again, we can't really be in our minds and think about stuff too much like that. I mean, I think it's just because I take it so seriously.
And why?
Because I guess for a long time I rejected it. I rejected Christ as a young man, and now as an adult, I see. I can look back and see, especially after listening to you and watching your show on YouTube. I mean, I could see how Christ has moved through my life. When I wasn't even paying attention, I didn't care, and so I guess that's why I get so.
So you could be telling people about Christ and you will get emotional about him, or you could be thinking about him alone and you get emotional?
Sure, just overwhelmed. I guess that's I don't know if that's a better word.
Right. You get overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed.
Oh, I got you. And you know why you ask me why that is, or is that all right, or what?
Well, yeah, I'm asking you, I'm asking you, do I still need to focus and pray more about having my emotions under control? I mean, of course, I don't want to be a beta. I don't want to sit there and be crying in front of people, talking about either Christ or
does your wife obey you?
Yeah, yes, I believe she does. Yes, I have a wonderful wife.
Does she obey you?
I believe she does, yes.
Does she obey you?
Yes.
Your wife obeys you?
I think she does as much as she can in her earthly mind. I think she does.
Does your wife obey you?
Yes.
And when you say, I think she does, sound like you're not sure.
Well, no, I'm only putting that in because I'm in my own mind, because I know we are, my soul is in this body. It is stuck in this body for this time, and I know other people are the same way.
Well, let me tell you, the reason you get so emotional about Christ or anything is because emotions are evil. It's anger. And so the anger, the emotion that you feel is due to anger. If you didn't have anger, you would not feel emotional when you talk about Christ or any situation.
Sure.
And just that anger feel good, so you call it something else other than evil. It's evil. That's why you get emotional about Christ. And just like you get angry if something didn't go your way, it's the same spirit.
That's true. I understand. Thank you.
Have you forgiven your mother?
Absolutely. And it's funny, man, that's why your show has been blowing me away so much. Is man, looking back on my life, some of these things that you want of us to try and do to try and change our lives, to focus, I feel like they almost happened to me in a natural sense. When I first married to my wife, I could see how women can be different. And man, I was able to, through my wife, I was able to see kind of that thumb that my mother or my sister kind of had on me my whole life, and I was really kind of able to let that go and talk to my mother about it. Now, of course, my mother, she's a good woman too, but she thought I was crazy.
There's nothing good about your mother at all. What's good about your mother?
I would say that she is compassionate for people. And whether that's misguided or not, that very well could be, but she is compassionate for people.
What's good about your mother?
She loves me.
If she loved you, she would not have screwed you up.
That's true.
So why do you say she loved you?
That's, I guess, what I've been conditioned to think what love is on this planet.
I understand. And have you gone and forgiven her for turning you away from your father?
Yes.
You told her that?
Not in those specific words, but I will.
What'd you tell her?
I would just, it was getting at this conversation was a while ago, but it was that in a general sense that there was stuff that happened in my childhood, and again, nothing terribly abusive, not what we would consider abusive in modern times, but stuff that I looking back, I didn't like. I don't like that.
Did you tell your mother you forgive her for what she's done to you?
Yes.
You said, I forgive you for what you've done to me?
Yes, for the decisions you made in my life for me as a child, and things of that nature. Yes.
Casey, you have not forgiven your mother.
Okay.
That's why you still have her emotions. You think your mother's good. There's nothing good about your mother, period.
Okay.
But yet you call her good. And why?
Again, it's what this world has conditioned me to think is good.
I understand. Okay. And how about your father? Have you forgiven him for not protecting you from your mother?
Yes. Well, my father's been deceased now for about 12 years, but strangely enough, on his deathbed, again, this is something now as a man, I look back and see that as a gift. On his deathbed, he grabbed my hand. This is probably 2-3 days before he died, and apologize. He was apologizing to me in a way about, Casey, I'm so sorry. Your mother and I, we spanked you so much compared to, the other kids and blah, blah. He just was really, in a way, I feel like, and maybe I'm too much in my head, in a way, he was wanting me to forgive him and to come to him and to be with him,
Casey,
especially in his final hour.
Can you hold for me?
Yes, sir.
Were your father and mother married?
Yes, they were.
They were together until he expired?
They were together when he died, yes.
Okay. Can you hold for me?
Yes.
Hold on, buddy. Hey. Let me go back to Casey, a first-time call out of Louisiana. And Casey gets so emotional sometimes when you talk about Christ and other issues, and he want to understand that. I get so emotional, baby, every time I think of you. Casey.
Yes, sir.
That emotion that you feel when you talk about Christ or whatever situation is due to the hatred of your heart. Anger awakens emotions, and those emotions can sometimes feel good or feel bad, but they're always evil. And the only way you're going to overcome them, you must be born again of God. You must return to the Father And the only way that's going to happen, you got to see that you resent your mother and you're yearning for your father, and go and forgive your mother for recreating you in her image. You have her mindset, you have her emotions, you have her nature. And her nature is that of the devil, because the God below is the woman's God and the God above is the man's God. You must be born again of the Father above, and all those emotions will disappear. And you will live a life of knowing God, not emotional life of thinking about God.
I understand.
But you got to forgive your mother and get rid of the idea that your mother is good. There's nothing good about your mother.
I understand.
You got to face her, man.
I'm going to. I'm definitely going to, and I appreciate it.
And do the silent prayer. You know about the silent prayer?
Yes, yeah, I have. I've been working on doing that every day since I really started watching your show and listening to you talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, do the silent prayer. And do you ever tell your wife your problems?
Sometimes, not all the time. I mean, I feel like as a man in the family, as a husband, I'm not going to burden my family with those problems. They're my problems. I need to get over it.
And why do you sometimes tell her your problems?
Because I'm not praying enough. Because I'm not speaking enough to God and telling God my problems. And I feel like I need to get it all, get it out of my body and talk to somebody.
I see.
Which I don't need to.
Right.
I'm learning that I don't need to. That I need to talk to God and pray more.
And so you are doing the silent prayer every morning, every night?
Yes, sir.
And do you do the hoop and the holler prayer too?
No.
So you'll be asking Christ or God for anything?
Outside of, stillness in my heart,
What do you mean by that?
Well, like what we're talking about, trying to be emotionless, stillness in my body, where I don't feel these, wild, crazy things like that.
Right.
Like crying. Then again, and man, I'm not sitting here talking about I'm crying, rolling on the floor, or anything like that. You just get choked up. You get a little choked up.
But getting choked up is evil.
Yes.
So
I agree with you. I see that. And
I want you to know you don't have ain't no such thing as having problems. Having problems is just an illusion too. It's all in the thoughts. Thoughts are all lies all the time about anything. That's why God said to bring every thought into captivity, because they are of lies. They are of the devil. Anyone that believes they have problems are worshiping the devil.
I agree.
So do the silent prayer. Go and forget. Mother, I'm sorry for resenting you, for recreating me in your image. I'm just like you. And I don't want to be like you anymore. I'm sorry because I resent you for it. Her mother did to her what she's done to you.
And I see that personally. Now, my grandmother's been dead for, 20-something years now. But I see that and just recalling memories of them and then hearing accounts of, her life growing up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see that. I definitely see that.
And
I'm like, yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that.
And that's why she couldn't help herself. She was recreating her mother's image, and she recreated you in her image. And that's what evil does. Evil works through human beings by keep repeating and recreating itself through other human beings as well.
That makes sense to me.
And so for right now, you're married to your mama. Your wife is your mama.
Mm. That's powerful.
But if you do the silent prayer, forgive your mother. Don't ask for forgiveness. You forgive her, God will forgive you. And he would change your situation and make it right. There's nothing you can do about it. He will make it right for you, but you got to let go and let him do it.
Amen, Jesse. I appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me know how it goes, Casey.
You got it, Jesse. Thank you.
You're welcome, buddy.